Hey y'all, thank you for joining us on Cousins Keep It Real. Today we're reviewing The Rip on Netflix, starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Glenn Rhee, and Tiana Taylor. This just came out, guys. It's a new one. How did you guys feel about this overall?
I enjoyed it. Um, Sometimes it's hit or miss with a star-studded cast, quote unquote. You kind of expect it to be good because of all the actors in it, and sometimes somehow it comes out like just mediocre. I don't think that was the case with this one. I think all the actors meshed really well within their roles on this movie.
Okay, I
Yeah, I
agree.
I agree. Yeah, I think that it was obviously Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have a certain sauce between the two of them because usually their movies are a hit and people enjoy watching them together. Um, but I agree. I think the cast overall was a good pick, and I think they all gelled together pretty well.
Yes, yes. I think that when was the last time they played in a movie together? I felt like it was is it what's that older movie that they got famous off of? Is it Good Will Hunting?
I
Goodwill
was gonna
Hunting.
say
I
Good Will
thought,
Hunting.
yeah.
So they've been,
Not the last one.
I think so. I don't remember them in anything else. I mean, they've been successful separately, obviously.
Right, right, right.
Um, but I could be wrong, but their chemistry was perfect. I felt like they were really friends. I thought they did an excellent job. Everyone did pretty well. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, they had a few actually.
Oh, really? Which
Yeah.
others?
Goodwill Hunting, The Last Duel, Air, and a lot of some of these they um co-wrote and starred in.
But maybe Good Will Hunting was their last big hit because I don't remember any of the last ones you just
Yeah,
named.
me neither. Me neither.
What about Dogma?
I remember the name, but I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
Next time on No, I'm kidding. I guess I gotta add these to the list.
we got to do some research, but yeah. Um, so as far as how it starts, I thought it started pretty like just threw you right in there. Something's going on. Someone's on the phone. A female's on the phone. In the beginning scenes, or you see the very beginning, you see Matt Damon speaking to someone. You don't know what they're talking about, and then you see this female on the phone, and it sounds like she's on the phone with someone who's very scared, and you could tell it's detective undercover type of work that's happening, but you don't really know what's happening. And then they get right into it where someone's dying and there's, a shooting in the parking lot and just all these things that are happening. I think we discussed this on one of our other reviews. I personally enjoy movies and shows that get right to it and then explain later,
Hmm.
like it gives you all that the action up front and then you kind of just have to really pay attention so you can understand what you just watched. So I
Right,
enjoy
right.
that.
Piece it all together.
Yeah.
I agree.
So out the gate, you can tell it's some type of, they're the cops and they're being interviewed by other cops to make sure they're on the right side of the law, that everybody's story is straight. So, like Jess mentioned, you're just kind of jump right in and try to figure out, okay, what's going on? Who's clean? Who's dirty? Who's telling the truth? Who's lying? So, and then you build a relationship with each character depending on how you feel about them. So
Right.
that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, Now, so the next scene after they're interviewed and you realize that I guess Ben Affleck and the Fed that was interviewing him were actually brothers. That was kind of cute. And then we get down with the crew just hanging out and they're dropping some details about overtime, about the next rip, I suppose. And I thought Matt Damon did such a great job with this role because the whole time you're like his acting was so good in terms of you know something is wrong. You don't know if like should he be trusted? What's going on? Like even in the beginning scene when he's like thinking of if he's gonna tell the team to go on the rip because he's like sitting in an office and he's contemplating, but he's just looking at everybody. Like even when he enters the scene where everyone's just hanging out, and then I forget the name, the guy that played on Scandal, I can't remember his name, but the Ben Affleck's boy that came in and was talking about
Okay.
his team.
Nick's,
I think so.
his name was
And
Nick. You're talking about
okay,
Kyle Chandler.
yes, yes. And he's just looking at him, and then that character was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he just snaps out of it. So immediately you already kind of tense, like, what is happening? Like,
You can tell he's distracted and contemplating things, and yeah, you don't know if you could fully trust him. Like, it definitely sets that stage for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Just to go back really briefly, back to the interviews, I before they mentioned that the Fed was JD's brother, and the Fed's name, I just want to make sure I'm putting the names out there. So Dell is the Fed that was interviewing Ben Affleck. His character's name is JD.
Okay.
When they showed his brother's face, I'm like, he looks like Ben Affleck. I
Mhm.
don't know. I immediately thought that. So when they actually got into that fight, and Matt Damon just casually says like, "Oh, he's fighting his brother," I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they did a good job with that."
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
I don't believe they're related. I looked up their characters, their real names. They don't have the same last name, but they actually favor each other.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Another part of the interview, Tiana Taylor. Um,
Keep it a bean.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So I want to know, and hopefully the writers watch this review and they can answer the question, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Who wrote that part of the script for her? I want to know who
No,
wrote Keep
honey.
It a Bean.
No, no,
I
no. She improvised. That was all her. I'm positive.
I think using improvised is a really strong assumption because improv includes some sort of shake up
Skill.
to what's already,
Oh,
yeah, some sort of skill, of course, but something. Improv is improvising and improving what's already written. There's no way that you said keep it a bean.
they're
And
like, yeah, put that in there. Put that
I
shit
feel
in
like,
there.
yeah, they was just like, we're
Leave
keeping
that
that.
shit in there. That's
They
perfect.
don't know
There's
this.
no way. There's no way. Nobody even knows what keep it a bean is. That's straight
That's probably why they
New York
loved it.
talk.
Yes,
Like,
keep it a
Yes,
bean.
exactly. And you
no,
swung for
It's
them.
gold. I
I
don't even know what it
hated
means.
I hated every minute of it. And I have to be honest with you. I really I like Tiana Taylor as, I mean, she's gorgeous, number one. Her body is
Right,
amazing. Her
right.
voice is amazing. She's highly talented. She could dance, all
For
those things.
sure.
And her getting into the acting world, kudos to her for doing something out of the box. I feel like when she acts, whoever the directors are literally tell her to just be yourself.
Yeah.
I hear her accent. I hear, you know what I mean? I don't see many things changing. And when one of your first lines is "Let's keep it a bean," I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now with you? Like, what is going on?
Did she say that's my
Yeah.
bitch at one point?
Yeah, she did. She said one of her funniest lines, it was towards the end, but when she screamed, "Shut the fuck up," I was like, wow, that sounds like how I talk. Oh, that was
They,
so
they
funny. I
they
was like,
knew that you were gonna someone was gonna be able to relate to her. That's why they have
yes,
her there.
we connected there. But
That's funny.
outside of that, um,
You don't
I
like to keep it a bean?
I don't want to keep it a bean. I'm watching I'm watching a film and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far, and then I hear keep it a bean. It just
Right.
makes me think of like the guys from around the way. Like that's how we talk. Like we talk like that. I'm not expecting
Yeah.
that on my screen. So that was it was unexpected. And I
Yeah.
I remember rewinding it the first time I watched
Like,
Yellow.
what?
I rewinded it the first time, like, I know I'm not tripping. Did she did she say keep it a bean? Whatever.
That's funny.
Anyway, I'm sure the feds were just like, what? Keep it a who?
I'm sure that's code for something.
Does she know something else? What is a bean exactly?
Right.
I thought
Is
that
that
was
an
really, really
operation?
funny. But to go back to your point of Matt Damon, yes, I think he did a really good job. You can, he did a really good job of confusing you. And
Yeah.
I, I enjoy reading the scene and reading the characters so that I can solve the puzzle before the movie ends. He
Hmm.
did a really good job of confusing a viewer like me because I wasn't quite sold on what his role was. I didn't know who he
Right.
was in the movie. So
Hmm.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like to piggyback off of that, you didn't know if you can trust him. Pretty much up until the very end, until things are revealed, you're questioning what side of the fence he's on.
Right, right, right.
Hmm.
Mhm. And I loved even Ben Affleck. I thought he was great. Like you could tell they were boys, like for real, the chemistry was there. But also he was trying to do what was right. He was calling him out on all his stuff. He wasn't
Hmm.
afraid of him, but he still
Right.
tried to be respectful. I just thought it was a nice balance. I thought it was
Yeah.
really good.
Agreed.
And to know
Especially
that he
since you
was
saw how he
causing
treated his brother.
yeah, right. But his brother was hitting a nerve. I
Yeah.
would have wanted to beat him up in the and push him up against that glass too. But I feel like also to know what Matt Damon was doing for the greater good
Hmm.
was was I don't know. I thought that was pretty dope. Like he basically was surveying the scene to see who he could even trust. So
Hmm.
everything that he was doing
That was,
that seems so outlandish, even going, as far as taking everybody's phones and things like that, like making sure they had no contact so he can tell who was the leak
hmm.
in the group and not caring what the blowback was. Like
Right,
the one girl, Lolo, couldn't even call her daughters to say goodnight,
Right.
and he didn't, sway from
Fudge.
right.
what his intention was. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
It made total sense when I looked at the grand scheme of things, but I did pick up on the fact that he was telling people different amounts. Afterwards, I felt really slow, like, duh, he was telling them different amounts so he can find out exactly who snitched based on the amount they gave. But I did pick that up quite early, and I was just like, huh. And again, it just added to my suspicion. Can this man be trusted? Like, why is he lying? And then it made me think, like, what did the text message say? Did it even have an amount? So
Right.
it just completely threw me for a loop because I'm usually really good with details, but I missed it. And I know the text said something, but I'm just like, I don't even know what amount it said in the text. I think they show it again and it was just like dollar signs. But again, it goes to show more doubt in him if you don't really understand or
Mm-hmm.
wrap your brain around what his whole plan was. It just made him look further suspicious.
Yeah, yeah. But I also thought like when they did find the money, or even well, they didn't ride in the same car. But I'm like, don't they talk? Like, I'm surprised someone didn't say, wow, we thought this was only going to be 150,000. And it's look at all these, containers of money. Nobody said the amount out loud, which
True.
is interesting. But yeah, he got he got lucky there.
I'm
Uh,
about to say you might be onto something that might not have happened in real life. Someone would have said something like, "Wait, I thought it was this
yeah,
much," and the jig would have been up right then and there.
Right. I think so too. Or even how he was giving out the numbers. It was by luck that no one was behind him. You know
right.
what I mean? That
Yeah,
overheard him tell Lolo that it was 75,000 and um the other guy, I forgot his name, the bad guy. What's his name?
Yeah. He said 150, right?
Detective Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, that he said 150. So, yeah, I think that it all happened by chance. I don't know that that's really going to be realistic, but they had to work with something.
Hmm. Hmm. The
Yeah.
girl that answered the door, I liked her as well. She just seemed like a realistic girl. I don't know if you felt any type of way because it was in Florida and the towns, I knew them. I'm like, oh, Florida, stand up.
Right.
I
I was just
felt
like, I've been
good.
to Hialeah. I'm like, oh, okay, Hialeah police. Okay. For sure.
Yeah, but she wasn't annoying. She seemed like a regular girl, you know. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, what did she mean when she was just like, don't be pushy, don't do that pushy cop thing. And then as soon as she signed the paper so they could come in, she was just like, that's what I mean. Da, 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 da. I didn't
Oh,
know
he pushed past her. Like he
Yeah.
what
like
her.
pulled her out the way and like busted up in the house.
Yeah,
So that's what she's like, that's what she means by that pushy shit.
they
Okay.
were being nice and kind of just like talking to her nice and all that until they got that signature and then it was on. So
Okay.
that's what she was talking referring to.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I thought I liked her character as well. Um, I felt like she was another one that couldn't be trusted, and you just didn't know if she was in
Mhm.
on it or if she knew more than she was leading on to. Even when I thought it was so interesting because first of all, I didn't know that they had dogs that smell money instead of
Yeah, I
drugs.
thought it was only drugs.
I thought it was only drugs too. So when they told her, she was adamant like there's no drugs here,
Right.
no drugs here, and they never told her in the beginning like we're not looking for drugs, we're looking for money until they got in the house. So when
Right.
they did mention that to her, you could see her face go blank. So you
Right.
knew something, you know what I'm saying, like
Right.
obviously. And they Ben Affleck's character picked up on that as well. JD picked up on that.
For sure. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I did like her character. I didn't necessarily find her suspicious. I found her cautious and scared.
Mhm.
Because from the very beginning, she was working with the cops. I feel like in most movies, they either do like a damsel in distress, like, oh, I don't know, like wide eyed, like, I don't know what's in here. And, or they play someone that's like hardcore. I feel like she played a good in between role where she
Mhm.
just seemed like, listen, they had me do a job. I'm doing it. I'm not trying to get killed. Like,
Right.
I don't know. You want to come in? Come in. You like take what you want, but I'm just trying not to die.
Yeah.
I felt like her energy was realistic.
Hmm. I felt the same way. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
moving past that part, um, I'm trying to think what was next. What was the next scene that kind of grabbed my attention? They obviously go into the attic. They find all this money. I thought even how it was hidden. I was cracking
You're
up
like,
at the
why is
part.
this attic so clean?
Yeah, I
Like
was
this
cracking up at that
house
part.
is so busted.
He was like, "Why is the attic so clean?" She was like, "Why does it matter?" And he was like, "Cause the rest of your house looks like a landfill." Like,
So disrespectful.
it was, but her house was crazy. When they were first walking in,
Right.
I'm like, "Damn, that's a lot
You
of
would
stuff
try to work from the
everywhere."
top down?
Right.
Unlikely.
But I thought it was very like strategic how they had that cord sticking out and then you pull it and then the window goes up and then they see all that. So um that was a very interesting part.
Hmm.
And then it just starts to get more and more interesting from there to find out they have this money. Matt Damon's like freaking out because he knows, he knows what he knows anyway, but now he's found it.
Hmm.
So now it's like go time to find out what's what. Um, and something that you see early on is that even when the phones are collected, um, Detective Mike has a burner.
Yeah.
So he obviously looks suspicious from the rip. But then I thought it was like too good to be true. Like they wouldn't be showing this person now. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't know the person responsible for all of it right now because
Well,
we're so
no,
earlier on.
I don't think, well, at least I didn't think because he had the burner phone, he was a suspect. I thought he was just a good guy. He could tell something is off. These two are probably going rogue. Like I just always thought he was on the good side of things. And also, if you've watched the popular show he was on prior was Walking Dead, and he was just like
Mhm.
such a good character.
Oh,
Everyone
I know I
loved,
knew him from somewhere. I
yeah,
couldn't put my finger on
yeah,
it.
everyone loved Glenn. His name was Glenn in The Walking Dead.
Yes, Glenn.
Yeah, so you just automatically feel good when you see him. Like, so I didn't suspect him at all. I thought he had to watch his back, which is what the girl in the kitchen thought,
Yeah.
because she thought she could trust him. So I didn't suspect him like you did in the beginning.
So I wouldn't necessarily say I thought he was the good guy. I was gonna say I feel like they did really well with making everybody a suspect. You know, everybody was questioning everyone. I like how they had the separate moments where Matt Damon's character is trying to figure things out. I like the moments with Ben Affleck. He's trying to coordinate because he was one of the only person that was able to actually keep his phone. He's coordinating with his guy, like, I'm not trying to step on his toes, but something look a little awry. And then that other guy, Glenn from Walking Dead, he has his burner phone. And yes, having the burner phone was suspicious, but it did seem like he was reporting back
Right.
to the higher ups or something of that nature. Now, again, I didn't necessarily jump to he's the good guy. It just made me suspicious of everyone. But I like that it gave me different suspects to look at versus putting all the pressure on Matt and him acting a little sketchy. They could have just had us following his story and thinking it was him the whole time. I like
Mhm.
that they gave us other people to look at, like, are you honest with what you're looking for? Or are you trying to find a way to get your own cut? Or, like, so I like that they gave you different options to look at side eye.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. I love the scene with when Lolo was talking to Numa about how she makes 80,000 after taxes and
I was
like
about to say that too.
this
Yeah.
type of money could just like change a lot of things for me. And I get her. And I was just like,
Hmm.
if I'm in that situation, I'm sorry, I'm taking some money. What would you do? Like, and
Definitely taking some money. Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't done yet. Go ahead.
Relax.
My bad, you weren't done. Go
It's
ahead.
it's
The
not
way I
over.
would have had money sticking out of the top of my bulletproof vest, baby.
Um, I felt like that part was giving like set it off vibes. I'm like, what they about to do? What are they about to do? But
Like,
yeah,
girl, I
I
won't tell if you
absolutely
won't tell.
yes, I would have. I felt like I would have. What would $20 million?
right.
You're not gonna miss
At,
this
at
little
the end, it
snack
was
right
like
here.
20 mil, 6 foot. We could have split. We could have said 10 mil, and we all could have split that other 10 and been living lovely.
Yeah.
Seriously. Or me and homegirl, we could have said 20 mil and split the 640. Like, I don't know.
Right.
We could have
Um,
did some, we could have worked
they
something
said
out.
20 mil. They don't know about the 640 additional.
Exactly. So nobody would have known that part, and you guys could have just skimmed a little off the top, is all
Yeah.
I'm
Just a
saying.
little bit, just to pay some bills, get my babies right.
They have
Yeah,
some credit
apparently
cards. Yeah.
we don't belong in that industry
Clearly, we don't need
because
to work there.
we're not trustworthy, we have no morals, but
The dirtiest cops they've ever met.
listen. I've heard worse stories. I would have took some of that bread. So,
Or at the very least, have that girl hit me off with a little something. Like, thanks to me, you can build a whole new house. You
yeah.
got some money.
So the first time I watched it, I must have missed this part, but when I watched it the second time, I saw that they explained when they were sitting down with her and she was explaining how the house was in probate and her sister was fighting her for it and they was basically trying to pin everything in the house on her and she was just saying like it's not in my name so you can't. So they were like, "Oh,
Mm.
where'd you come up with that loophole, all that?" They explained to her, which I hopefully I can I'm just going to summarize what I remember, but they explained like in the state of Florida, um basically because she was a snitch that you get like a kickback off of what's found. Because
Yeah.
I was confused about that
Yeah.
when I was getting my hair braided when I was watching it the first time, and me and my braid girl were just like, "Since when
What?
do they give you some of that money at the end?" We were so confused. Like, why is she getting any money? It was in her house, but like, is she due that money? And then we kind of like came to the conclusion like maybe because they burned her house down and they owed her.
Like
We don't
insurance
know.
money from the
Yeah, so
house. That's what I thought initially.
we couldn't figure it out, but when I watched it the second time, they explained it early on. So she was
Okay.
due like I don't know if it was like a 2.1% or 21%, something like that.
It was 20%, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, some portion of the money.
I think it's crazy how the brother gets like 4 mil out of it. I don't know if it's like because they seize it, they get a cut. I'm definitely taking a little bit off the top. That just I feel like it
Right.
Every,
balances out.
She
everybody
got
Because you
shot
sees
didn't
it.
even
in the
really all you did
arm.
was show up at the end. I did all the
Right.
hard work. I
No,
was in a shootout.
yes, and Lolo got shot. She got shot in her arm or her
Yes.
leg.
And I could even say goodnight to my girls and I can't get
I
nothing?
almost
Yeah, right.
died. Yeah, everybody ate but me. Absolutely not. So,
You would have saw that final scene of me owning a little bit of an island somewhere offshore.
yep,
Because there's no way. There's no way.
that would have been the beach I would have been sitting on at the end, not still in Florida.
Right.
So, um, when what is his name? I'm calling him Glenn, but that's not his
His
name.
name is Mike.
Mike, when he
Mike.
was outside and he saw the lights, well, first all the lights came on in the neighborhood. And then that one house, the light was flickering. I'm like, oh my, this is turning into a horror flick. Especially when Ben Affleck was just like, I'm going alone. I'm like, it felt really scary. And I was just like, I can
Right.
be a cop. Because, back in the day, I wanted to be a cop.
Right.
So yeah, I like that. But the whole part of it where they said sometimes a cartel will buy up the entire block or the entire neighborhood. I was just like, wow, is that a thing? So I thought that was interesting. And
I thought
I
that
guess
was interesting too because when they pulled down the block, it was as if the block was fake. There wasn't any cars, there weren't any people,
Right.
nobody was outside, and they were able to kind of just zoom down the block and take up that whole keyhole parking spot, with all
With
their
no
fun.
suspicion, nobody looking out the window.
Yeah, and I was so confused. So when that part comes where there's the flashing porch light and they're doing Morse code, um they seemed almost surprised, like, oh my god, they know we're here. I'm like a blind person can see that you're here, like,
The big truck I pulled up in was kind
yes.
of a hint.
You guys came like
The
six cars
vest,
deep. you
the
have you
barking
have
dog.
the
Like,
six cars deep, the tactical gear, like you're
uh,
standing outside, we can see you if we're standing in the mirror, like, or standing in a window. So I thought that was such a weird comment to make, and I was so scared when Ben Affleck was going down there by himself.
mhm.
yeah.
When he goes into the house, though, there's a shadow,
Hmm.
and I don't like to say that I look for little errors in movies, but it kind of was. So
Mm.
there's a shadow at that part, and then later on, they do a flashback to what actually happened and during that scene, and it doesn't explain the shadow.
Was it the cartel though? Because wasn't the
It was
cartel
that
there?
that bald head dude that he ended up coming back with. I guess it was kind of like they didn't know it was Ben Affleck. They just thought someone was there that wasn't supposed to be. And then once he saw the tactical gear, he was just like, "Oh, we're on the same team," type of thing. I don't know. I was a little confused about that part as well when Ben
Because
Affleck came back with that additional person.
yeah, but so what happens is that Ben Affleck goes in there and Matt Damon comes into the house.
Hmm.
But when you
Mhm.
see that shadow of Ben Affleck, Matt Damon is still outside with Mike. And that's when he's like shaking him down, trying to see if he is, um, you
So
know,
that's why I feel like it was that Hispanic dude that Ben Affleck ended up coming back with. I don't know if he said he was a somebody that got bought out by the cartel. Like it was some type of
Yeah, because
additional assistant.
didn't
it
they
was
call
just
the
weird because
cartel? They
you never,
FaceTimed someone, and was just like,
yeah.
yeah, we expect a loss, so you know, take what it's
But
whatever.
when they fast forward to the scene of Matt Damon being in the house with Ben Affleck, no one else is there with him. It's just the two of them. So you would
Yeah.
think if the cartel guy saw him first, then Matt Damon would have been talking to both of them
Yeah,
True,
like, hey, this happened.
true.
Yeah. I have to
Unless,
think
see that.
yeah, yeah.
that part I was just like, why did they show that? And then, you know, flip the scene and you still see Matt Damon's not even in the house yet,
Mm,
I think to kind of throw you off. I
obviously.
get it, but for us, it still needs to tie into the story and make sense. And that's a little off kilter, a little bit. It didn't make
Yeah,
sense in that
yeah.
scene.
mm,
Because you're right. At that point, he would have discovered him, and that would have been a conversation for both of them, not
Everybody
just
would have been in
Ben
the
Affleck.
same room. Yeah, we
Yeah.
would have all been talking together. So I thought that was a little weird. The cartel part um, was interesting because
yeah.
they were able to FaceTime the big guy and get confirmation that they had nothing. He had, the cartel had nothing to do with it. I guess the Morse code was still from the cartel, though.
I think
That's
so.
what I'm assuming, because they were like pigs to
Hmm.
let people know, like,
The
we
cops
see
are
you, to let
here.
them know we.
I think what bothered me, there was a few things that bothered me. Little things, little things. Um, the first thing, do you remember? I'm gonna go back a little bit when they were sitting down talking to the girl in the kitchen, and I guess Tiana and the other girl was upstairs, like breaking the wall, and there was dust just
Hmm.
falling all around them. And I have this thing, I don't want anything falling in my hair. That annoyed me so much. Like, no, I
God
know,
forbid that asbestos got caught in your locks. You would have been so
Definitely
pissed. Like,
asbestos.
can you tie me with like an umbrella above you or something? Like some type of courtesy here?
like it wasn't happening. But what really annoyed me was I felt like the team, and I know they're police officers or whatever, special agents. I don't feel like they were scared enough when they were like, you got 30 minutes to leave, you got 10 minutes to leave. And
They
then
weren't scared enough.
they shoot at them, and then afterwards they just go back to counting. I just was just like, I don't know. It just felt I would have been so like at least on guard, just ready. They just seemed a little too calm.
They were like, yeah, they called. They said they're gonna be here in 10 minutes. That was like 5 minutes ago.
Right, right.
They
So we
were
got
so unbothered.
we got 2 more minutes left. I mean, I felt like that was unrealistic, and I felt like I would want to know in a real scenario like that where it's protocol to count the money before you leave.
Mhm.
If the house is now receiving threats and we're getting shot at, shouldn't we be packing this up and counting to
I'm gonna
go?
say protocol should have us be leaving this establishment right
Right,
away
right.
for
Obviously,
our
because
safety.
we're about to get, not only are we about to get killed, but all this money that's been found is about to get taken. That's how
Right.
I looked at it. Like,
Yeah, there has
why
to
are
be
we
an
still
updated
here?
protocol for that.
Yeah.
And you don't know how many people are coming. There's only six of you, I think. Five,
Yes, and
six.
you've called
Yeah.
no backup. You've called no
Right.
one,
Yeah.
which is another
I don't even
reason
have your
why
phone or your radios on.
I felt like Mike with the burner
Mm,
was suspicious because whoever you're reaching out to about what's going on right now, they're not even helping. They're
mm,
not. What are we doing?
right.
Nobody.
They're just
They didn't.
like taking notes, like, okay, call me back and let me know what else happens.
Yes, that's why I was just like, who is he talking to
Mm,
about
And
what's
why
going
haven't they shown up
on?
yet?
And why haven't they come? Yeah, to bust your lieutenant, to say like, "Oh, you should have called this into command," and all that. Like, no, no
But the
one did
same
any
with
of
Ben
that.
Affleck too. Like he was calling someone and the guy sounded like he was on his way, but also took forever to get there too. So I felt like they had similar storylines where they were reaching out to someone. It sounds like it might be for help, but it's also like no one's showing up. So is it really help or is it to help
But
still?
the difference between those two, it seemed as though from the beginning, JD and Matt Damon's character, which I'm gonna find his name in a second. I just try to call them their Lieutenant Dan. How could we forget Lieutenant Dan?
Oh
This
my God, Lieutenant
giving
Dan.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
So
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan and then JD, it seemed as though they both were up for the same type of promotion. So even when
Hmm.
Matt Damon's collecting the phones, he leaves JD with his phone because he's more so an equal to him compared to
The rest of them.
the rest of them. So when the detective keeps a burner, it looks super suspicious when JD has his phone, and we all know he has his phone. So he's reaching out because he's clearly scared that something's going on with Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And he's reaching out to someone, and you can hear everything that he's saying to him. You can hear the conversations. So I just feel like it was just different. I think Mike from the beginning was super suspicious, and I was very surprised at the end that he actually was suspicious. Like it was actually him.
Yeah. Because it was so obvious to you.
Yes.
I get it.
But they had us going through so many twists and turns with Lieutenant Dan that it definitely threw me off. They still did their job in throwing off the scent, but I was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
into Mike from the beginning, though.
I will say I like the fact that like he threw us off. He threw the girl Desi off by like, "Yo, hey guys, how about we do this?" And I did feel like it was very random, him having that conversation after just coming in to talking to Mike. It was just like weird. But I will say I appreciated the fact when they ran it back and they showed that he was like signaling to them like play
Mm-hmm.
along, play along.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, because I was just like, where is this conversation? It
Mm-hmm.
didn't it didn't align with the suspicious activity he's been doing throughout the whole thing. It just made it seem like, all right, guys, it's me. I'm the dirty cop. We're gonna take the money. I'm just like, no, this is too easy. So I like the fact that he didn't just throw us for a loop. He threw Desi for a loop, which he knew she was gonna do the right thing and be like, yo, to Mike, like I want to call him Kevin for some reason. Like Mike, like they're planning on doing this, and the way he knew all the puzzle pieces and how they were gonna fall. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, okay, that's pretty impressive.
Right, right.
Yeah, that was good. Very
I
strategic.
agree. I agree. I do feel, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So the reveal happens in the truck. You had to really pay attention at some points. The guy was about to shoot him in the face. What is it? The guy that he was working with that came later on.
Was that the
Um,
one Nix? You said Jess Nix?
Knicks, yeah.
Nix. Yeah, he was about to shoot Glenn character in the face.
Like,
Um, but yeah, yeah. I thought the scene or the movie could have been a little shorter. I don't know. I don't know what I would have taken out, but I felt like it went on and on. I mean, the end after the whole fight scene, and then now they're reporting how much money they found. At the very end, when they reported the amount, I couldn't remember what the amount really was. So I wasn't sure if it was short, if they shortened the money, or if it was the actual amount. I had to go back and watch. So it looks like they didn't steal not 1 cent.
right.
Nothing.
What
They didn't steal
crazy.
anything, which was
They didn't steal a
insane.
penny.
I was very surprised that they didn't take anything. And I think that what could have been shortened, they stayed in that house for a very long time. They were in that house
Yeah.
setting it on fire, fighting,
Mm-hmm.
counting money,
Mm-hmm.
stealing, pretending to steal money. They were in that house for a very long time, having ransom calls. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that part probably could have been shortened. And I also feel
I
like at
agree.
the end, when they are having this very long, extensive fight scene between two completely different characters, like
Mm-hmm.
the bad guys, um, those that was pretty long as well.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
kept me interested for sure. Like I was willing to see like hopefully they catch them, hopefully they're able to bring some resolve and they both the guys get in trouble type
Mm-hmm.
situation. But it was long.
It was.
Enough already.
Yeah, we got the hint and we understood what happened. I like movies that will give you that scene in the truck though. That was a
Mm-hmm.
good scene.
Tie it all together. Like,
Tie it
oh,
all,
this is what,
yes,
yeah.
tie it all
This was the
together.
plan the whole time.
Yes, tie it all together and how everything unfolded where you understood Matt Damon's character, Lieutenant Dan. You understood what he was doing. You understood even how he said like JD was saying like he just clued me in. So as as much as JD was kind of calling for help because he genuinely was like concerned and nervous and just feeling like Lieutenant Dan was like living on the edge and just going rogue and stealing the money, he was very, very, very new to all of this information as well.
Yeah.
And it was
So
because,
clearly all bats plan.
yeah, it was because he had to keep it like that to find out who the bad guys really were in this
Hmm.
Yeah.
scenario, who was really responsible, not just for the rip, but also for Jackie's death. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that that was really good. Really, that was probably my favorite part in the movie.
I agree.
And I'm sure that another part that played in it because of JD's relationship with Jackie, that probably played another part as to why he didn't share his plan with him. Because he would have probably moved off of emotions as opposed to the plan and tactic. I was going to say at the very beginning, I'm usually not a fan of movies that 90% of the movie is in one location, or the movie is set over the course of one full day. That usually drives me nuts. I like to see days, years, progression. I like to see scene to scene. I hate it's like Castaway, where you're on that beach for 90% of that movie. So I 100% agree with you. They were in that house for far too long. You found the money. I get what Matt was trying to do in the whole plan, but it just did not make sense with people literally calling you and telling you how much time you have. And you're like, we're going to stay here. We're going to count the money and all the things. They shoot them up and then they still stay there to finish counting the money. Like that part was just kind of like, guys, like they could have blew y'all up with the money.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like it just wasn't safe at all. And that was the part where it's just like, I don't know, like it's not really realistic. And I don't know. The right thing to do is to not take any money. But for six people, 5 to 6 people to come across all that money and everybody be honest and not take a little bit off the top, I think someone has a little stat. Let's keep it a bean. Tayana left with some money.
Even did you see that right after Let's Keep It a Bean, she was talking about something and she was just like, I mean, come on, make it make sense. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
But these are modern day slang terms. Like,
Right, right,
make
for
it make
sure.
sense.
Tayana, Tayana.
Yeah.
So do you think they get any type of kickback? I guess maybe bigger bonus. There has to be something
I'm
that the
hoping at
team
least the
gets.
bonus. There's no way this guy could show up and go on a blowhorn and get 4 mil,
No,
and I don't get nothing, and I'm the one that was shot at or shot. There's no way.
I gotta look into this. I need
Yeah,
to look
and
into.
it needs to equate to 4 million. Like, like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I wanna know. I'm
Yeah,
interested.
yeah.
Because maybe that would make more sense to me why there was no, I just don't think they do. Because why would there be a conversation of what would this amount change?
Right,
This
right.
amount for viewers that can't see what I'm doing or listeners that can't see what I'm doing, I'm holding my index and thumb very close to each other. That small amount of money compared to $20 million. If they were receiving a kickback and they knew they were receiving a kickback, why would the
Yeah,
conversation even happen?
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay. I thought, I don't know if anyone else got that feeling, but at the end, I thought Desi and Matt was gonna go for coffee or something. I don't know. I thought,
yeah. They look like they're about to start a budding little relationship. It looked a little weird and a little cute at the same time, in
right.
the sense of you could tell like Matt has been so thrown into his job because of his child that he lost. So it kind of looked cute, but it was also a little sick because
She's
she
young.
looked so young and he looks
Okay.
much older.
Uh,
Sidebar, I was like, okay, grown Matt Damon. I was
yeah.
like, I don't know, he's giving like little Spanish poppy on the low. Old, I was like, I don't know, I like what he's doing with it. I don't know, I like it.
I like the beard too, but
Yeah,
I got a weird vibe. I don't know if I got a vibe that they were about to start a relationship, but maybe there was some like underlying flirting there.
right.
It seemed out of place. That's all I can say. 'Cause
It's inappropriate.
it didn't, definitely inappropriate, but it seemed like it was just like not even part of the grand scheme of things. Like, no,
This
I'm not
was like a
even impressed.
private, like, what are you doing after this movie?
Exactly. Do that after you guys wrap.
Oh, man. This
Oh
wasn't even
boy.
scripted. That was the improv.
Yeah, that was improv. Not keep it a bean.
Oh God. All right, so what do you guys give this movie a 1 through 5 rating and
I
why?
would I would give it um a strong 4.7. I
Wow.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie and I enjoyed it more than I thought I was.
Okay.
It kept me fully engaged. It kept me confused, but in a good way. Just
Hmm.
like, throwing me off what I thought the ending would be or what I thought um the climax of the movie would be. Like it kept throwing me off. Um so I mean that's hard to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm always on top of it. So for that alone, it gets a higher score. But I enjoyed the acting, I enjoyed the characters, and yeah, I will stick with a 4.7.
Okay. Shasha.
I'm gonna go with a 4.8. Like in The Price is Right, where you just want to go like one above the person so you can win. I give it a 4.8 because of all the things that Jess said. I really like the chemistry of the cast. I like the fact that I'm very similar to Jess in that way. I try to figure things out the gate, and everyone was suspicious to me. I didn't really know who was dirty, who was clean. I would have been dirty if I was with them. So it definitely kept me entertained, and I don't know, I just like the dynamics of the characters. Like I don't think they would normally hang out in everyday life, but they're thrown together for this force, and they lead by a code of conduct and honesty, and I always support things like that. So again, I support it. I would have taken the money, but I thought it was really cute that they were honest and didn't take the money.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I give it a 4. Um, I thought the acting was really good. The storyline was strong. I felt also like I learned some new things. I knew nothing about this type of work, or this type of police team. I didn't even know dogs could smell money. I always thought it was drugs. So,
Right.
um, it was just interesting and it makes me kind of want to look into it more. Um, the only reason I'm not giving it higher is because there were definitely some scenes that I felt was unrealistic. I think it was a little longer than it needed to be. Um, yeah, yeah, I think a strong 4 is what I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, guys. So that's it for our review on the RIP. I guess we'll be back soon with another review. So thanks for watching our review with Cousins Keep It Real. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.